are now tuned into DAR Sports Media. This is the Medium wrap-up. We're going to start connecting the Medium articles that True puts up on the Medium site for DAR from all of our fine writers, and do a companion pod based upon whatever the most popular one of the week is. And this week's most popular Medium article was about the demise of food courts, the demise of the popularity of food courts in malls, and malls in general kind of slipping away from the zeitgeist of popularity of society, of what we do. And you know, a lot of times the nostalgia stuff really works on Medium, man. People want to memorialize these parts of our culture that were so ingrained and so pivotal that are now going by the wayside. Of course, we got True, the mayor of Cincinnati, up there. We are also joined by the Duke of South Florida, the man with the mission down there with Seaplane Entertainment, one of the biggest and best. If you want to get something going in South Florida, my man Chris Alini is the man to talk to. I guarantee you that. He's joining us for this conversation as well. True, man, what was the genesis of even like doing this article in the first place?
If you remember, maybe like a year ago, I had wrote something about kind of like stores, like throwback stores, like in general, like stuff in malls and just department stores, from like the Circus Cities to to the Sarku Japans, to the, Cinnabons, the Suncoast, FYE, Sam Goody, the Wall.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, we
wrestling.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like just going in Blockbuster, obviously that's the one everybody talks about too. Hollywood Video was where I was, and so it's like nostalgia is just like we grew up off of these things. We came up off of those things. Going to the mall just to get fresh sometimes, just to go to the mall to get fresh and then get you something to eat while you at the mall, because that's the experience. That's the ritual. You go, to the mall, you go to the store, especially, in Baltimore. We had it was like that. We got Downtown Locker Room was the main spot, but we had like a place called Changes that went out the way like 2002, 2003. We had other little small spots. You can go get your white tees, you get your black tees, get all that stuff. And you would always go about you get the 5 for $20 on the white tees. Then you go right down to the food court, and be like, all right. And you see the lady with the bourbon chicken samples, the teriyaki chicken samples, or the pizza, or whatever you wanted at the time. And so when I was thinking about it, I was having a conversation with somebody, and he's like, man, remember bourbon chicken, yo? Like, let's get the bourbon chicken at the mall and get the free samples out. And like, we used to walk around the mall like 2-3 times in this bitch and grab the free samples and hope they don't recognize us and grab the free samples. And so I started thinking about it, and I was like, yo, what? I think it's funny. I was talking to Pico. I was like, yo, what's your favorite spots from the food court? And he was like, man, how long you got? And I was like, you know what? I'll come back to that conversation later. And then I just was having a conversation with my girl too, and we was all talking about it. And I was like, you know what? Why not just make this an article? Like, I just write about it. And then the process went to take my memory and write down 30 different places that I remember. And that shit was not easy. And then because also like with bourbon chicken was the really thing that spawned it, because I was making bourbon chicken for dinner like the other night, and I was like, man, that was, and it don't hit the same, you know what I'm saying? Like, it don't hit the same when you make it yourself, because when you get it with the cabbage and the fried rice, it don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't got all that. Yeah, like I ain't got all that. I ain't doing all that. Like, I get that 90-cent, the 90-second bag of rice and toss that motherfucker on there and just select that chicken on there now. But like, just going there and looking at it, and then you got like the little sweet and sour chicken and the orange chicken. They give you free samples of everything. So I started looking at that and was like, let me just run through it. And my process was, I'm not gonna lie, like it took a minute for me to make the decision on what I ranked and where I ranked. And like I said, I got one on there, which if you look in the like left-hand corner, most people don't even know what that is. And I didn't know that because I grew up in Baltimore and Maryland. Like in Maryland, like the Great Cookie is an institution in Maryland. And and everywhere else is Great American Cookies. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So like I'm here in Cincinnati, I go to the mall and I see Great American Cookie. I'm down in Atlanta, I'm down in, North Carolina, I'm down whoop-de-whoop, and I see Great American Cookies. And I'm like, man, that shit ain't got nothing on the Great Cookie. and Security Square Mall, White Marsh Mall, Mondawmin Mall. Like that's where I grew up at. So like the Great Cookie is like top 3 on my list because every time I would go to the mall, no matter what it was, like I would bypass Cinnabon and Auntie Anne's for Great Cookie. You get you a quarter pounder, some Snickerdoodle, quarter pound chocolate chip, butter crunch, whatever. And even that Great Cookie take me back to the days we was in school when we had them 3-pack of cookies with the chocolate chip, the butter crunch, the ones that used to get stuck in your teeth when you eat them. Like them shit.
We had 80-cent cookies back in the day. The big joints, 80 cent. Chocolate chip. Homemade.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like just that nostalgia going back and thinking about it. I just responded, and then, like I said, for me, man, even to this day, if I walk through a mall, if I walk through anywhere and I see a Sarku Japan, I'm stopping there. It don't matter. Like I'm like 99% of the time I'm stopping there. Don't matter. And that's why I put that at number 1 on my list, because I was like, bro, like that's probably the one I still see the most. Like whether it's in Maryland, whether anywhere, like I still see it. Like I was in Atlanta with my daughter and we were ordering Sarku's Pan on DoorDash. So, and she was like, "What's this?" She's like, "I don't remember this." It's like, because that wasn't something she came up with. So I was like, let me put you on game. Let me put you on game with this. Like, and then she was eating it just like I was. It's just like my mom was the one who put me onto it when I was a kid. Like when I first started seeing it in the malls, my mom would be like, "Oh, what's this?" And, free sample. They give you toothpick, and then I was like, "Oh, this hit." And now chicken teriyaki, hibachi, all that shit is everywhere. We didn't have that many hibachi places in out here like that. Now you got hibachi and Japanese steakhouse serving that type of stuff, cooking it right in front of you, fresh and all that stuff. You didn't have that. And like in my name, like growing up, I didn't see that until Sarku Japan came in. Even with the bourbon chicken, they brought it out. They made it and they brought it out and put it in the little things. So that was where Sarku Japan was different for me. So that was why I made that number 1. There's a couple restaurants I left off that like I try not to do too many chain restaurants. You know what I'm saying? Like I put the Panda Express, I think, on there, but I didn't put like this one. Subway used to be in the mall. Like Subway in the mall used to kind of hit.
That's my that's going to be my food court story was okay. So it's Sbarro. I haven't looked at the list yet, so we're gonna go through. I don't know if you put that on. That was like the king of like the food courts of chain restaurants was Sbarro. But so mine is both kind of lame but kind of funny too. So I grew up in a town that was so like desolate and shitty, and that we didn't even have a mall. Like it was like 50 miles away, the closest one. I was fucking poor anyway, so it's not like we're driving to the fucking mall to, whatever the fuck. So by the time I lived in a town with a mall for the first time, I was like in my like 19 years old, 20 years old, 21 years old. I was super, super, super on the bodybuilding tip. So my nutrition and my diet were like fucking crazy, like crazy strict. So anytime we would go to the mall, me and my buddies, me and the boys, they would always, let's go to the food court and get shit. So like the only place that I could ever go was the Subway to like try and get something that kind of fit into what I was trying to do nutritionally. So I would always get pepperoni, pepper jack, and mustard. And that was like my big treat for the week. Like I would plan around us going to the fucking mall and go to the food court on like a Friday night, and I was gonna get my foot-long pepperoni, pepper jack, and mustard sandwich. And by the time I had kind of moved on from that phase to more of a maintenance size kind of focus with my gym stuff and my nutrition, that the mall had kind of started to fade out. And you wasn't going there with a pack of your friends no more. So like you guys, right? Like True, you're telling like you guys used to go in like high school and middle school or like whatever. I wasn't even like really in the mall until I was like 19 or 20 years old. So it was a lot shorter like era for me. Chris, what's your food court memories, experiences? What pops into your head when we bring up mall food courts?
All right. So like growing up in Miami, like we had Sbarro. Sbarro was like more like Aventura Mall. So that's more like the fancier mall in Miami. We used to go to a mall called 163rd. 163rd is like a dead mall now. It's like in North Miami Beach. It's literally across the street from North Miami Beach High School. So like we used to go get Cazzoli's pizza, and Cazzoli's was like kind of like that New York style Italian. It's like a little more greasier, a little more grittier pizza
Hell
than
yeah.
Sbarro, but it was still, really good pizza. Like it reminded you of like a walk-in, like the Last Dragon, like Daddy Green's Pizza. Like you kind of walked in, it was like a little more brighter than that
Yeah.
in the mall. Then you had, Bourbon Chicken. That's, obviously that's like one of the top fives. Cajun Grill, we had that. We had Great American Cookie, but Mrs. Fields was like our thing in like South Florida. Mrs. Fields, you get like the cheesecake brownie, you get the, peanut butter cookie, like you said, snickerdoodle, obviously chocolate chip, double chocolate chip. And we had Subways, we had like some of the, nowadays they got Popeyes and Burger King and the chain stuff. Some of them had like pita. Some of them had like jerk chicken. Like the Jamaicans would like set up shop and have like their own little thing, and it didn't really have a name to it. It was just like, all right, we have Jamaican food here. It's like, oh, word, we got Jamaican food. So you get like the Jamaican patty, and you go to Reggae Wear, get like your Reggae Wear clothes, and you go to FYE, you go to, like you said, Suncoast. You go, like, that's how our malls were, like Pembroke Lakes, 163rd, Aventura. Sarku, that's in my number one because that was everywhere. Like you would go to Broward Mall, Sawgrass, like it was always packed, and you would always get a bento box, the chicken teriyaki sushi, like just the spring rolls, the chicken egg roll. Like I don't do pork, so it was like a lot of that, and it was just a lot of that good food. And I forgot. Everybody talks about Auntie Anne's, but Churro Mania. You got to get the churro and Orange Julius. Orange Julius is because it's
number
like
10, number 10 on the list. Number 10 on the list. We're about to talk about it.
That's, I got to 80s, 90s. Yeah.
I got to sneak one story in. It was one of the funniest moments of my life. I don't know if I've talked about him on the show, but I know I've talked to True about him before. My best friend in the world, my brother from another mother, he's a dude from New Orleans, and he is 100% New Orleans. Like there's no two ways about it. Like he is that. So right everywhere we go, he's just macking all the time. And that was of course part of the mall, what you do at the mall, right? So we're in the food court and we're walking away, and part of his whole thing is he would say stuff that was just so outlandishly fucking stupid, but like it would make girls laugh, and then they would talk to us. So we're walking, we're entering the food court, she's exiting the food court, and this guy says to this girl, "Hey, where'd you get that McFlurry from?" Where the fuck did you get the McFlurry? No shit.
And it worked. Yeah. And it worked, right? It worked.
Yeah. It worked.
That's simple.
So what else worked is this top 10 list True put out on the Medium site. And of course, like I just said, the first thing is Orange Julius. I've had a smoothie or two that from there, pretty good. Not a huge connection for me. Orange
not
Julius,
a huge connection for me at all. Like I even said that cool. Too. Like I saw Orange Julius / Dairy Queen. Like that was usually what I saw in the mall. Like I would go to Arundel Mills and you see the little Orange Julius next to Dairy Queen. Every now and then I might go in there. Even with Dairy Queen, I didn't put Dairy Queen on there because I consider Orange Julius in that. Same thing with like Jamba Juice is another one that like later on in the years.
Jamba Juice was big out in California, man.
Yeah.
Big in California.
We got a lot down here. Yeah.
We have like 2 or 3. We got one in the airport here at BWI. I mean, well, not here, but back home at BWI. They probably got. I think they got one at CVG airport in Cincinnati. Like I said, Orange Julius is one of those things like I saw it everywhere I went, but it was never like a need to go and be like, oh, let me go get that. It was just the line was always crowded. So I was like, I got to be fair. It got to be fair. And when I ranked it, I said, I can't always like rank everything just to my taste. I was trying to think about like in general. And Orange Julius is just one of them ones, man. It's just one of them ones.
Well, Chris mentioned it. So why was that, man? You got a connection to Orange Julius over there, Chris.
Well, it's more of like Orange Julius to me was just more of like how you say like Dairy Queen. So like it was always around. I never really had like a real Orange Julius. Like the closest thing I had to was the frosted orange at the Varsity in Atlanta. So I guess
Okay.
that's like an Orange Julius, but like I never really. I just always saw it like as a kid. Like, I'm an '80s baby, so like seeing it in the mall in the '80s, it was like, oh, Orange Julius. And then they started putting Orange Julius with the Dairy Queen, just like how you do like the Baskin Robbins with the Dunkin' Donuts. It's
Yeah.
like they just started putting like different things together. So you would always see it in the mall. But I mean, it wasn't like a big thing for me personally, but it was a big thing seeing it because I would just go get Dairy Queen or like a cold drink at Orange Julius. But I didn't really have like a connection to an actual Orange Julius drink though.
The last time that I was down in Florida and I saw that I was in Orlando and I saw that y'all had Baskin Robbins, I fucking popped, bro. Yeah, dude, I haven't seen one of those. I haven't seen a Baskin Robbins since California, where I grew up. Like I didn't even know they had those on the East Coast at all. But Florida is kind of a different. Florida's a whole different
we
beast
got our
of
own
snacks,
thing.
man.
Man,
You guys got everything.
They got them in
all
Maryland.
over the country.
They got them in Maryland. I mean, you probably know that now. They got a couple of Baskin Robbins in Maryland.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I haven't seen one.
What about Carvel? Is Carvel still around?
Yeah, well, there's one out in the area called Pikesville in Maryland, out in the county somewhere. So I ain't been back home in a minute, so it might have shut down, but that used to be around, and used to go into the giant supermarket and get the Carvel, all the Carvel stuff there. But they used to have one. It used to be right there on the corner, like 7 Mile Lane or whatever it is in Pikesville, Maryland. And Baskin Robbins, there's one out in the county, not too far from Towson. And there's another one in the city somewhere. But like I said, I ain't been back home. And I was never a big Baskin Robbins. And I will say a lot of Dunkin' Donuts carry Baskin Robbins stuff too. They carry Baskin Robbins. There's a Dunkin' Donuts across the street from my old high school, which I'm not going to put that on here. But from my old high school, there's the Dunkin' Donuts, and they have all the Baskin Robbins stuff. So it's
what's fire about Baskin Robbins that I'm aware of. This is still like the only like ice cream chain place that does this. But we're totally off track here. Is Baskin Robbins, you can pick any flavor of ice cream and they'll make a milkshake out of it for you. I don't know any other place. Like Cold Stone doesn't do that. You could go in and you could pick any of the flavors. They'll take 2 scoops and make a milkshake out of it.
I ain't gonna lie, man. This making me hungry as shit. Like this.
Yeah, we ain't even got to number 9 yet.
Yeah,
so they used to have a Baskin Robbins on the campus of UPenn in Philly that I used to go to when I was dating a very nice young lady that went to school up there. Future doctor. She's good girl. Panda Express number 9. This is a heavy one, man. Panda Express is still heavy in the game these days. Like people still know Panda Express.
Standalone.
Yeah, so here's why it would have been higher if it wasn't for the fact they, as I think even put in there, they pay their workers pretty decently. They have their own standalone restaurants now, basically, where you can go. So it's kind of hard for me because the essence of the food court is like, I could only go here to this food court and get it here. Yeah. Like, so that's why, but that's how I first got introduced to Panda Express. I used to go to,
I remember it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Security Mall and Owens Mills Mall, or maybe not Owens Mills, maybe White Marsh. And that was my first time having orange chicken was at Panda Express. Honestly, like that was the first time having orange chicken. And now, like I said, Panda Express is fancy now. They done got, some sweet sour shrimp and walnut shrimp, and they got teriyaki chicken and all that stuff, and they super greens now, and like before you could just get a little bit of gift. It is good, but it should just fancy now. Yeah, like I had a couple times, but like it's fancy now. So, but I just remember when they had all I could ever remember getting was now they got like you can get a bigger plate, a big plate, and all that stuff. You can get 3 items and stuff. We would go to the mall. We would get either 1 item or 2 items, and it was always beef and broccoli and orange chicken. Like that was it. Like nobody else got ever anything else. You could ask Apollo this and anything. Like we used to see it in the mall, and he'd be like, all right, we going to Shawku, we going to fucking Panda Express. And we all right, you go here, I go there. We're gonna see. And it was always orange chicken and beef and broccoli for me. But it like now, like I said, now they didn't change the game, man. They got new items every week. They had some super fired joint, and they got some pepper steak over there, and they got voodoo. And I want to point out, and this is a aside, I wish I could have put Ding Hao. But Ding Hao is I've only ever seen Ding Hao in Westview Mall and Mondawmin Mall. But I used to live religious and get Hunan chicken, I think it was called. And I used to get that shit religiously. And it was fucking like it had the perfect sauce. It was it was basically just chicken and broccoli, basically, right? Like basically your chicken and broccoli, but they had like, was it bamboo, whatever them things is, some onion in there, some extra like carrots and stuff. So it was just a whole bunch of, and I used to get that all the time. And they used to have some fire. It wasn't bourbon chicken, but it was like sesame teriyaki or something, some sesame something chicken, but it wasn't like fried sesame, but it was like how they do the bourbon chicken or the chicken teriyaki, but it had sesame sauce on it. And that used to be fire too. But I couldn't put that on the list because, like I said, that was only around maybe like the first 7 years of my childhood, 8 years, 9 years. But when I think of Panda Express, it used to be in the mall right next to Ding Hao. Like, and that was when I was a kid.
Chris, any Panda Express or any other like he was doing off-brand Asian sensation restaurants in the food court that you got?
Yeah, Panda. Panda was like in the same mall, was the third. They would have like the shrimp and the chicken. Beef and broccoli is like always the go-to though.
Yes,
like,
sir. Yeah.
Most people, like you can't go wrong with beef and broccoli over white rice or brown rice. You might get like a few string beans or carrots or whatever it is on the side with it. The little mixed vegetables, chicken fried rice. You can just eat chicken fried rice by itself. You don't even need nothing, just sauce, chicken fried rice. So Panda Express, yeah, that was like one of those ones that was like I'll put on the list. We go heavy Asian food.
Well, we're about to break into, and I need Drew, maybe you too, to educate me on this. I've never heard of Johnny Rockets before. Johnny Rockets is ranked number 8. I don't know. Okay, this is a mystery to me. Tell me about it.
Yeah,
Johnny Rockets is like, I'm not gonna lie. So my ex back in the day, she put me on to Johnny Rockets. Well, not even put me on. She was just like, "Ooh, look at this place. I like the way it looks." Like if you look up in the upper hand corner of the screen here,
it does look cool.
So it's got like a throwback vibe to it. You know what I'm saying?
It looks like Back to the Future.
Like a throwback vibe to it. And so I remember going there one time. It was downtown in the harbor, and at Harbor Place downtown, and we walking by, and she was like, "That place always got people in it. We should go try it out." So we went in there and we sat down, and the fries, I was like, all right, average fries. The burger was average to me too, but it was a hearty burger, and the prices weren't too bad. So for me, I think when I saw that, I was like, this is always right next to the food court, no matter where you go. Like no matter where you go, it's not right. It's like either in the middle of the food court, or it's like how Ruby Tuesdays used to be, which is another one I didn't put on my list. Yeah. The Ruby Tuesdays started being right
inside the mall.
Yeah. And so it was like that. So I just thought about it, and I was like, Johnny Rockets, man, they have decent hamburgers, they got decent milkshakes, the fries or whatever. But it's like you're not really going for like the quality of the food, so to speak. You going because of the throwback environment and the vibes, and then you getting a decent burger and decent fries. I mean, you put ketchup on some fries, or you dip fries in whatever you want to dip them in. You can kind of. So
there was a spot in a big mall that me and the boys used to go to that had this same kind of, it wasn't Johnny Rockets though. I believe it was called Ruby's, I want to say. And it was same thing, like a 50s style diner, but it was like it was like a Ruby Tuesday setup. Like the whole restaurant it wasn't attached to the food court, but it was in the mall. And but it's the other way. The food was fucking banging, man. Well, as far as relative to, burgers and fries type food, but the food was excellent. You used to have these mozzarella sticks that would come with like 3 different kinds of dips. And it was like kind of like a zesty kind of cane sauce with one of them, like a smoky one. It was fucking fire, man. I doubt sincerely it's still there, but we used to make a whole fucking day of going up to that big ass mall and going to that place. Old Ruby's. I think that's what it was called. It might have been something else. But that's ringing a bell. Chris, you had some Johnny Rockets thoughts.
So like Johnny Rockets down here, it wasn't really like in a food court. It was more like, all right, you're like you said, in the mall, like attached to the mall, like outside, inside, half and half, and then it would lead you to the food court. Or we would have like Johnny Rockets at like the casino, like Johnny Rockets at the Hard Rock, or Johnny Rockets at Main Street. So it'd be like outdoors, standalone. But that was like where all the kids hung out. Like if you was like a young, like I would say kids, but like younger people. So they would open up until like I guess like 12, 1 o'clock at night. So you get out of the movie theater, you go to Johnny Rockets, you get you some food. Everybody's hanging out at Johnny Rockets. That was like the diner. It was kind of similar to a Steak and Shake to me. Like the food was but it wasn't bad, but it wasn't like the greatest thing in the world. And like you said, like the milkshakes were one thing. You had different varieties of milkshakes. You had different varieties like burgers. You had like chicken, like grilled chicken or whatnot. And yeah, Johnny Rockets was like one of those places like go to a movie late night. You know, obviously like a movie would come on a Friday night, Saturday night. You go to Johnny Rockets right afterwards. You know, you get some food. That's where all the girls were. That's where all people who had like I don't want to say money, but like you had money to spend after the movie theater, and you just have fun. You know, you kick it with people. You know, you see new people there. You know, it was like a lot of networking going on as a young person. You know, if you were in your teens, your early 20s, you would go networking at Johnny Rockets, and it did have
Okay.
like that old school Back to the Future vibe where it had like the people who worked there were all white. They had the paper hat,
Yeah.
Paper
and
hat.
it was like yeah,
Okay.
you had like the jukebox, the little old school jukebox in the booth.
Hell
So
yeah.
yeah, Johnny Rockets, I give it some points. I definitely give it some points.
The
Up
glorified
next,
diner. It's
and
like a
this was
glorified
Yeah,
diner,
pretty
basically.
much.
Yeah.
this one's funny to me because I've always lived well, not always, but the last 20 years, I've always been in proximity to numerous boardwalks. So I didn't even know that boardwalk fries in a mall was even like a thing. I didn't even know, right? I still see them
Bro,
all the time at the ocean.
it's a Maryland so
Okay.
this is more of a Maryland thing. I realize that. So every Maryland mall in the 90s and early 2000s had a boardwalk fries. Like that's how I discovered boardwalk fries. Because like growing up, we didn't go to the beach. Like I ain't really go to the beach like that growing up.
Yeah, you're on the
Like
other side of the bay. Yeah.
yeah, like we was on the streets. I was in the streets. Like I ain't care about going to no beach, but we would go to the mall. And my mom used to be like, "Oh, let me go to get some fries from Boardwalk Fries." She would get nothing else from
Get
Boardwalk
the
Fries.
vinegar fries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she would go. And so it's funny. Like if you go to Five Guys now, like Five Guys fries kind of remind me somewhat of Boardwalk Fries, and like how you put them in the cup, and like you can put a little malt vinegar on there and give them that little extra
Yeah.
whatever zing to it. And so that's why when I think of Boardwalk Fries, like I don't remember nothing else from Boardwalk Fries, but when I was thinking about it and I started talking to people, everybody was like, "Yo, remember we used to go get Boardwalk Fries from the mall and do," and I was like, "Yeah, all right, like I guess." And like for me, I had to think about it, and I was like, "There's just not a lot of everything else I would have put on there would have been super chain restaurants, like
Right.
like the Popeyes would be in the middle, of there. Chick-fil-A used to be heavy in the mall.
Yeah,
That's
That's
like
that was a
everywhere.
big
That's
deal in the
everywhere.
mall
like
by me.
everywhere.
Yep.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like looking at stuff like that, I'm like, all right, whatever, like so that's Boardwalk Fry just included just because in Maryland it was just always in the mall. Like we couldn't escape Boardwalk Fries for like a good 10, 15 years. So just like how the Great Cookie was, but the Great Cookie was different because we lived off the Great Cookie. Like we would bypass getting actual food to go to the Great Cookie and buy like a fucking quarter pound or a half pound of cookies, and or a whole pound, and we just split that shit amongst each other. Like it's just different.
That was probably the last place I ate in a mall food court was a Chick-fil-A. So yeah, that was a big one when that opened. Chris, you got anything on a boardwalk? I mean, I imagine your experience was similar to mine down there in South Florida. There's plenty of beaches. Like I didn't even know that boardwalk fries was anywhere other than on the beach.
We never had that, to my knowledge. Like I don't think of like any malls in Florida that had a boardwalk fries. Like the only thing I think of comparable to that probably would be like Nathan's, I guess. Like we had like Nathan's, like they have their fries, and we would see some Nathan fries, and we had Arthur Treacher's. Oh, we did have Miami subs. So I'll say this as a little disclaimer: I'm not happy with Miami subs. But at one point, Miami subs was a very good franchise down here. They call it Miami Grill now. When the guy Gus Boulis, when he owned it, it was popping. Now, yeah, Miami subs, yeah, y'all get like downgrade, but like the fries, I guess boardwalk fries might be like something similar to like Miami subs down here.
Two heavy hitters that kind of cross into the same wave space.
I already know where this is going.
Two big dogs, Cinnabon and Auntie Anne's up next, man. Talk to us about
brother.
And Auntie Anne's. But neither one of those were ever able to be worked into the Eric nutritional plan back when I used to be in food courts. So I do not have a lot of experience with either one. Auntie Anne's and Cinnabon. Talk to me about it.
Man, Cinnabon is like And that's a staple. Like that's just a staple. Like you can go to a mall right now and you're gonna find a Cinnabon in there.
I mean,
and
that's
same thing with
I had one last week.
AEW, one of the best, Kenosha Takesta, he fucking loves Cinnabon.
Yeah. So but even with that, right? Like you think about it, like Cinnabon is it's just cinnamon roll with a little icing on it. Like, but it's just they put it in the oven, little oven thing. They bring it out. It's fresh. They give it to you. When you get a fresh Cinnabon, it's nothing like it, bro. It's nothing like it. And when they came up with the caramel pecan bun and shit like that, I remember I tried that. I said, nah, that's it. And me, I wish Apollo was able to be on here because we great cookie Cinnabon. It's no wonder we didn't have clogged arteries as children because the amount of shit
we ran it off.
Yeah, we did. We be on in the gym on the court, whatever, and we would just get, especially if you go on a date with a girl back in them days, like high school days, like you know what I'm saying, early college days. She get the one with the cinnamon ice, and you get the one with the caramel pecan. She give you a piece of hers, you give a piece of her, like that was, and I'm not gonna lie, like with the pretzel, the pretzel game was different for me because I ain't really I like pretzels, but I'm like it wasn't a big deal. And
pretzels are on a little bit different level though.
Yeah, like so it was different for me though because we had a very bootleg Auntie Anne's in Baltimore. Didn't have a name. It was just in the food court of the Ricestown Road Plaza.
Ooh.
And I used to go right. It was this Asian ladies who would make these pretzels, and they were like humongous pretzels, and they were selling for $3.50. And you look at the price of what they sell them at Auntie Anne's, I was like, I'm going here. And that's when I first learned because everybody's like, you dip your pretzel in mustard, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's normal. I tried a sweet pretzel that was dipped in caramel, and like I got stuck on that for quite some time.
He said that changed the fucking trajectory of my life.
The game was over.
Yeah. Chris, got any Cinnabon Auntie Anne's thoughts?
Well, I mean, Cinnabon, I just had, like I said, I had one like
still a staple.
Yeah, man, you can't go wrong with it. It's like the cinnamon with the frosting on it. You might get caramel, you might get truffle, whatever. But yeah, Cinnabon is just that thing. And then Auntie Anne's, for me, I like the toasted almond pretzel. Like I gotta get a toasted almond. You dip that with the frosting, or you get caramel or whatnot. But they're charging you money now for each dipping sauce. You want a little cheese sauce, and they want like $1. It's like $1 and change. It used to be like maybe 30 cents, 50 cents. Yeah, they hit you over the head for that dipping sauce. So toasted almond pretzel when that thing is made fresh. Or that cinnamon sugar pretzel, you gotta get it. They got the ones that like, I'm not really a pepperoni guy, but like they got the ones that like cheese with the pepperoni or whatever.
I've seen those. Yeah,
they're cool. I'll always support Auntie Anne's because like if you couldn't get a job somewhere at the mall, Auntie Anne's definitely was gonna hire you. You was a young guy, young girl. They would hire you at Auntie Anne's, and we had like 2 of them in Coral Square Mall in Broward. So. You had one that was like kind of like a kiosk, and then the one that was like in the far distance that was like an actual like Auntie Anne's store. That wasn't really in the food court, but it was like in the mall, like going towards like Kohl's or whatever.
But we're reading the list. Bourbon chicken. Again, not something that I've never come across one of these, but it sounds like it was real heavy in the paint.
You have missed, brother. You have not lived yet. You have not lived yet, my brother. These are things that like, bro, bourbon chicken was like for a kid like me, like, you know what I'm saying? I ate chicken boxes coming up, you know what I'm saying? 4 wings fried as it, salt, pepper, ketchup type shit. Like, so when I would go to the mall, it was like a break from that. And my mother never made this shit. My mother was like cooking baked chicken and turkey wings. She said, you're going to eat with your grandmama, what your grandmama made when I was growing up, and you're gonna eat healthy. You're gonna eat a whole bunch of greens, and you're gonna eat a bunch of this, and we're gonna, potatoes and shit. So my mother was always on that. And then when I got to bourbon chicken, that was the one thing in the mall where my mother was like she would usually be like, I'm gonna just get this and I get a whole lot. She went and she was like, what is bourbon chicken? What's that? And she walked over there and she got a sample and she said, "Oh hell yeah, let me get some of that." And my life changed right then and there because it's like bourbon chicken is a sweet, tangy flavor, and a lot of people make it differently. Obviously, you can go buy a bottle of bourbon chicken sauce in the store right now. I can go to Kroger right now and get it. I've done it several times. So it's like it don't taste exactly the same, but like it just hit different, man. And we had a place in Security Square Mall, and that's where it started for me. And I cannot remember the name, but it wasn't Ruby Thai, but like Thai Barbecue. There's like anywhere you go that has a mall, somebody sells bourbon chicken. Somebody sells bourbon chicken. Like no matter where you go, somebody sells bourbon chicken. Like it's a staple. It would be number one if it had like a mainstay, like a place where you could like a main place that was everywhere. Because what's Ruby Thai Kitchen is in Maryland, it's in PG County, it's in Baltimore, it's in Towson, but it's not in Cincinnati. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not Cincinnati. I can get bourbon chicken in Cincinnati. It's just not called that. I can get bourbon chicken in Atlanta. It's just not called that. So this wherever they have Asian food sells bourbon chicken, that's why it's on the list. I mean, I can't like. And brother, if I could say one thing to you, do you ever go to a mall soon? Just try it out once. Just try it out.
No, it'll be on for sure. It'll be number one on the list.
Yeah.
My Costco is in the same parking lot as a mall, so maybe they'll have it in there. I'll go check it out. Chris, you look like your eyes lit up about the bourbon chicken as well.
Yeah, bourbon chicken. You know, I talked about Cajun Grill down here. That's what we call it. It's like a few of them in South Florida in general. I guess it's like the chain or whatnot, and they have bourbon chicken. So you get like the bourbon chicken and orange chicken, and you get like just different other, white rice, vegetable rice, different stuff, cabbage with it. And bourbon chicken, I got that when I first started getting it. I was in middle school, man. It was life changing. It was life changing. Like you go there, and it's like, you go there with all your family, your mom, your sisters, whoever else is with you, and you're buying like 5-6 plates, and we're all sitting in the food court. And you notice, like when you're sitting in the food court, you're sitting around a bunch of other families, and they're all eating the same thing. Yeah. And it's usually bourbon chicken. Like some might have corn in there, some might have, string beans or whatever, or noodles, but it was always bourbon chicken. Like it's the safest thing to get. Like it's hard to mess up bourbon good. Like you're gonna get great bourbon chicken or you're gonna get bourbon chicken. It's not gonna really be bad bourbon chicken, I feel like. Like you go to the food court, it's usually gonna be like really good. Or it was like, they could have did better with it, but I'm still eating. That's kind of how bourbon chicken is, But yeah, that's like one of my top like mall memories in general, is like bourbon chicken.
So number 3 to me, this has an argument as number 1. This is the big dog to me. Sbarro. Again, during the time period where I was frequenting mall food courts, I wasn't going to be just stopping into a Sbarro to grab a slice. If I was going to eat pizza, it was going to be a very like special occasion. It was going to be the best type of pizza, special order, all that stuff. So I don't really have much experience with Sbarro, but what I do know is that they have been popular and in pretty much every damn mall I have ever been in my entire life, to the point where, there's the famous Family Guy spot where they spoof it. How do you see it spot in American? He's walking around oblivious. Let me stuff a slice of Sbarro in my big fat face. Like that's what he says to define himself as an American in a foreign country. Sbarro is one of the kings, man. Talk to me about it. True.
It's funny. Sbarro's not a place that I frequented very often because most people probably won't know this about me, is that pizza was never something that I cared to eat like that growing up too much. So most kids love pizza, and I would eat pizza at like parties, you know what I'm saying? And like be at school and the teacher get you the pizza and you get the little ass slice. Like I would eat it like that. But like my mother rarely ever ordered pizza growing up. She was always like, I'm gonna cook this food because we're gonna save some damn money. Like that's how she looked at it. Like and I might could get like the DiGiorno pizzas from the market, but that shit don't taste. You know what I'm saying? It's different. And so I would go to the mall, and because of the fact I was eating baked chicken, turkey wings, and spaghetti, like that was the three essential meals as a kid for me. Yeah. Because my mother was like, well, if I go to my aunt's house, my grandmother's house. I'm in the trenches at my grandmother's house, and we eating, fried. They got fried pork chops for everybody. They got fried chicken fried steak. They got They got fried this, fried that. They got neck bones and shit like that, like neck bones with egg noodles. So I'm eating this at my mother would be like. So I go to the mall. I'm like, I don't want no damn pizza. I want some bourbon chicken. I want some chicken teriyaki. I want some, I want a Cinnabon. I want, it was like a treat. The mall became like a treat. So I never really ate Sbarro that much. I think once or twice, like on a little date or something when I was in high school, and go like, oh, let's get pizza and let's get a couple slices, and then you go get that. And it's your standard pizza. It's
sipping
your
your
standard
soda
pizza.
out of a straw, that bullshit. Yeah,
it's your standard pizza.
Slice.
Yeah, it's your standard pizza, man. And the slice, it was a sizable slice, which I will say, and I think you felt like you got your money's worth, and that's what I think that's how I described it anyway. It's convenience. It's a convenient way for you to get quick eats at the mall while you're doing your thing, and you don't have to break the bank to do it. And that's what we wanted. That's all we needed. Really, back then, that's all we needed was something quick, something easy, get us through, keep it pushing.
Yeah.
Chris, Sbarro, man, talk to me about it.
Yeah, Sbarro. I mean, I still kind of go there to this day. It's just those prices are like way higher than what I remember.
That's why all these places are disappearing, man. They forget who their clientele is. Their clientele is supposed to be like younger folks. We've talked about it in other ways on this show in the past. Like, I just don't know. I don't know what spaces are for people from like 6th grade to junior and high school now. Like, I just don't know where they can afford to go, what they can afford to do, what spaces are for them anymore. And then we turn around and like, why are these people like getting in trouble? Like, I don't know, because there's no fucking place for them to go. But anyways,
and like going to Sbarro, and like I said earlier, was Cazzoli's Pizza. That we had on 163rd. Like Sbarro was like you get your 2 slices and your drink for like $7 or something like that, and then you eat that, you good. All right, we're gonna go to the arcade. You spend like $10 in the arcade playing Street Fighter, NBA Jam, whatever it is, right? Mortal Kombat. Then you go to the shoe store. Sbarro was just one of those things, like you did it. It was like kind of like a routine. You go to get the pizza, you go to wherever you want to go to, you go get the cross colors, your Carl Kanai, you go get your Tommy Hilfiger, whatever. We go to Marshall's right quick. I'm going to Burdines, I'm going to Macy's, I'm going this place. That's like one of those things, whether it's like you're done shopping or you kind of get your food in before you really get to walking. So that's Sbarro is always going to have the calzone. Calzone is like one of the top things to get to as well. You don't just get like a slice of pizza. You might get a calzone, splurge on that. Obviously get your drink. You might get, a little chicken parmesan if you want to kind of get fancy. Or I got a little extra money. All right, we'll split this chicken parm or something like that. We'll split this I don't know, this little pepperoni roll or something. Get some extra rolls with the you get the garlic rolls with the Sbarro. So that's kind of how it was with being in the mall. If you get a whole pizza, we was balling. A whole pizza, a whole medium, you was balling back then.
Facts, big facts, bro.
Number 2, tell me, you got because this is foreign to me, right? So you're gonna have to lay this out.
Great cookie, man. Like I said,
sell me, True. Great cookie. Tell me about it.
If you anywhere else, Chris mentioned Mrs. Fields cookies. That was another one. Like that. So it's like Mrs. Fields, Great American Cookies, but it's just the great cookie. Like I said, I'm from Maryland, man. I'm from Baltimore. Like, it's just that's an institution there. Like, even now, you can go to the mall, it's still there, and it's still hit. Like, the last time I was in Baltimore, man, I was in the mall with me and Apollo was in the mall, and I remember Apollo was like, man, I'm gonna go over here and get this bourbon chicken. And I said, yeah, I'm gonna go over there too. And then he was like, might stop at that great cookie though. and we both had that look. And like, I've been, you know what I'm saying? Like, every time I've ever been home, like, it's just a must to get a great cookie, because it was like, it's convenient, but it's reliable. And it's never changed. You know how some people change their like ingredients and they change how they make certain things and it don't hit the same. Yeah, they don't change their formula. The cookies, the only thing they ever changed was that they eventually added bigger cookies. So the cookies about like this big, like regular cookies, not big. Then they added them big ass cookies, but them freshly baked big ass cookies. And I was like, that's it. The game is over. Like we was, and they was selling them for $1. They was selling for $1 at one point. It's like it's like $1.50. It's like $1.50, $2 now because obviously everybody going up on price, but we could get a quarter pound of regular chocolate chip cookies or snickerdoodle cookies. It'd be like $1.99, and you get like 8 cookies in the bag, like 8 cookies or 10 cookies, and that's freshly baked. And so we just go do that. And then if you get a half pound, you're getting 15 to 17 cookies in there for like $4. There's not many places you can get fresh baked cookies fresh out the oven. And it was, like I said, it's just the Maryland thing, and that's why it ranks so high for me, because you could not go to the mall and resist it, because $1.99 for a quarter pound of some cookies, and like the way they will weigh it, you would think that's like 4 or 5 cookies. Like, no, it'd be like 8 to 9 cookies in there, and you had 212 total for 8 cookies, and it's good cookies. It's fire. And like I said, that's what great cookie means way too much to me. Me and my mother used to go there. Me and my cousin used to go to the mall. We used to go to Montgomery, be walking through. We be on complete bullshit, doing shit we ain't got no business doing. We be standing outside, right by the side of Great Cookie, and we be doing what we was doing at the time. And he be like, "Yo, I'm hungry as motherfucker." I give him a 10, and he give me a 10. He's like, "Let's get us like a half pound of like chocolate chips or a half pound of snickerdoodle, and a $10 will cover all that. Like a $10 will cover a whole pound of snickerdoodles and chocolate chip." Like, and there's no other cookie place that you could say that about. Miss Fields, good cookies, expensive to me. Great American Cookie, I even see they got cookie pies or cookie pies and stuff in there now. I see them when I went to the mall here. That shit is like $7, $8. Nah. Bro. Like that's like 2 or 3 cookies, 2-3 big cookies put into one cookie. You can get like 4 or 5 of them joints for the same price at Great Cookie. So that's my sales pitch.
Biscuits, birds, and cookies, huh? Chris, tell me about. Do you got the Great Cookie? Do you got Miss Fields? What we got down there going on in South Florida?
Really great American Cookie in Mississippi.
Okay.
Now the prices are a lot higher than what True was talking about. Great Cookie. I wish we would have had that down here, because it would have definitely sold out. But I mean, as far as like Mrs. Fields Great American Cookie, we just did 3 for $4s. Pretty much like get 3 cookies, you get the 4th one free. And I'm a big peanut butter cookie guy, so I might get like 2 peanut butter, and then get 1 chocolate chip, get the other chocolate chip for free. Or I would get cheesecake brownies. Like I love cheesecake, so cheesecake brownies, or is it cookies and cream cheesecake brownie? They would sell those over at Mrs. Fields and Great American Cookie. But that was, me and my younger sister, we would go get that. I guess she liked the rainbow cookies or whatever, and just different ones. And that was kind of like our thing. We'd go there, all the kids would be there, all the families would be there, the line would be long. You might get a drink with it, but it was always a lot of money. So we didn't get like a whole lot of cookies. We might got like 1 or 2, or, we like do like 3 for $4, like you said, like we just do that. And it's kind of like going our way. But yeah, it was a great thing.
What's funny is for your number one, this old Sarku, I at first had no idea what the hell you were talking about. But then I've seen the picture on the Medium article, and I'm like, I have seen that place before. That is definitely a staple in many malls that I've been in. I have seen the stylized writing with the red background. Definitely iconic for mall food courts. Again, my very limited interaction with mall food courts. Talk to me about how much of a staple this is to be number one.
Man, listen. Right now, I could walk out this door, go to Kenwood Mall here in Cincinnati, and walk right over to a Sarku Japan and be like, give me chicken teriyaki, extra chicken. If I'm hungry, I might get some extra chicken. Make sure you put some extra sauce on that motherfucker, like, what I'm saying, with the rice, the vegetables, and all that. And it's just, I couldn't even explain to you where it started from. I just know the first time I saw Sarku Japan was at Owens Mills Mall. Because we used to go, me, Paulo, like the whole crew, we used to go to Owens Mills Mall, and we would walk by, and it was always the lady with the white shirt and the black pants and like a little apron. And she used to always hold these free samples. She used to have like a little plate with the free samples and
I remember that too. Yeah, with the red tray. Yeah.
And so she would look at us. and she would look at us and be offering free samples. And you know, you talking about like hungry as teenagers.
Yeah.
Hungry teenagers, we not gonna be like, nah, I'm good. Yeah, we not. And so the first time I took a bite, I was like, yo, that's hitting. And like the whole crew took a bite. They said, yo, we getting that. And like we stopped in our tracks. And my mother, I remember told my mom about it. I was like, Mom, I went to the mall and they got this Japan place. They got some chicken teriyaki. And she said, all right, I'm gonna go up there and see. And we went to the mall together one day. And she said, let me get the free sample. My mother got a free sample. She said, that might be better than bourbon chicken. And that that's where and what it became was a competition at the mall where it's like, which one we gonna go to today? Do I feel like bourbon chicken? Do I feel like the teriyaki chicken? Do I feel like maybe going somewhere else? Do I feel like the Panda Express is over here with the orange chicken? Like, or beef and broccoli? Do I want that? So that's where Sarku became like such a staple where it outlasted basically everybody else. Really, in terms of like those, like they outlasted a lot of places to where no matter where you go. I remember going into the mall in Atlanta, out there in Peachtree Mall, whatever it is. I forgot the name of it, but we went to the mall. Me and my daughter walking through the mall. She sees Sarku. She like, oh, let's go stop and get that. I have a video. Me and her eating that. She got the lo mein with the chicken teriyaki and the like that. And so the chicken teriyaki became such a thing to where I feel like Sarku is very, very integral in people loving hibachi as much as they do, because Benihana's was always there, but like we wasn't going to Benihana's. We saw Benihana's as like a way too expensive, and Sarku kind of gives you that experience from like a mall food court perspective. And then you start seeing people who I knew was eating Sarku was like, hey man, they got this hibachi spot. We never even talked like in my neighborhood. I didn't know what the fuck about. Like I didn't know what that shit was. I didn't know what it was. So we would see it and I'm like, yo, what they doing when they cooking it in front of you? They take the pile of the chicken and toss it right on there, and then you watch it cook, and it cook fast, and they put the oil on it, they putting the sauce on it, they putting the veggies right next to it and putting it together. Like I mean, there's so many others now. There's Quick Way hibachi, which is pretty much, you know what I'm saying, like Sarku too, and they hit too. So it's like all those different places now that you have, and there are bootleg Sarku Japans. I used to have one of them in Wrightstown Road, like Wrightstown Road Plaza in Baltimore. Literally had every bootleg version of whatever you think you could find. If you was looking for was it Charlie's cheesesteaks or whatever, you was looking for like any other like whatever place you could look for. If you go to Wrightstown Road Plaza, they had it. They used to have a bootleg Sarku Japan. All I had was Japanese letters on it, and they had no name and they had no menu. Like they had no menu up there for you to look at, like how Sarku had. You had a paper, like a piece of paper, and they handed it to you when you walked up, and that was the menu. And it wasn't like a full fold-out menu. It was like they went and printed some shit out from like FedEx, and like gave it to you, like here you go. But it hit every time. So chicken teriyaki, but Sarku, don't nobody do it like Sarku. No matter what, don't nobody do it like that. It just hit different with them. That's why they number one. They still around. I'm almost tempted to get over here and order some Sarku.
You gotta go down now and make a post to companion with the pod post. Chris, in agreement, huh?
Yeah, Sarku to me is number one. Like when I started moving to Broward, living in Broward, you know, coming from Dade County, Sarku was like one of those things I would see in different malls, and I'm like, oh, you know, I'm used to Cajun Grill, but then like you said, the hibachi is getting made in front of you, and then. You know, I'm looking at the menu. I'm like, beef bento, chicken bento. You're getting all this food for this much money. You're getting sushi. You're getting the rice. You're getting the chicken. You're getting, you know, a spring roll with, you know, all this food for, you know, $12. It's like, bro, that's crazy. So then, you know, I just started doing that, like just going to Sarku like more and more and more. You know, they make sushi. So the ones that we have over in Broward, you know, at Coral Square Mall, they got a sushi side where you want whatever sushi you want. And then they got the fried, you know, fried rice and the fried, you know, whatever chicken, teriyaki, the hibachi steak, whatever it is you want, beef and broccoli, that's on the other side. So you had cats that was making the fresh sushi for you. And I would get fresh sushi sometimes where I would go change it up and, hey, I'm going to go get the fried rice. I'm going to go get the bento box. So, like, you had variety with it. And they had, like, a lot of drinks. Like, they had, you wanted Snapple, they had Snapple. If you wanted Pepsi, they had Pepsi. You wanted lemonade, they had lemonade. You want the Mexican soda, they had Mexican soda. Like it was so much variety. Like Sarku, The line, like there's people who literally will go to work, do their lunch break at the mall, their hour or 2 hour lunch break at the mall, at Sarku, and leave with their Sarku food. You know, either they take it out, go back to work, or they'll eat at the food court and then go back to work. It was just so much of a busy thing that everybody went to Sarku. And I feel like, yeah, they deserve that number one. I don't know who deals with corporate, but you know, we need that we need some gift cards or like
little kickback,
yeah, little commercial,
Yes,
little
sir.
commercial something. Cause Sarku, yeah, y'all definitely got number one in this era, 2025. You know, Sbarro, y'all got high marks still. Obviously Cinnabon, but yeah, Sarku definitely my go-to now.
Well, this has been the Medium companion piece. Hope you enjoyed the piece. Hope you enjoyed the pod. We brought back some good memories for you. This is DAR Sports Media, and only for meetups at the food court. Otherwise, world of DAR never stops.